Hello, my name's Roy Granger, and this is my audio blog. Today I was out in the forest collecting audio recordings of woodland sounds for the ambient filler track that would be placed midway through the Moog Moggy's debut album. It was whilst capturing various bird calls and tree branch rustles that I heard a series of sounds emanating from deeper within the forest that chilled me to my very bone. I'll now play a sample of the hideous sounds I managed to record. Unable to contain my curiosity, I made my way deeper into the forest despite the knowledge I'd acquired of the probable outcome of such a venture, gathered mostly from watching various living TV paranormal programs. Humming the theme tune from Playdays to invoke a charade of childlike adventure to keep up my spirits, I came to the entrance of a cave from which the fear-summoning sounds echoed out. Peering into the darkness, I could see a bright light emanating from deep within, partially obscured by the silhouette of what I prayed was a human being. "Who's there?" croaked an oddly Welsh accent. The silhouette sharply became a side profile as the creature looked over what I assumed was a shoulder. With a speed that I could barely fathom, the creature had bounded away from the light it was slumped in front of and towards me on all fours. It stood in front of me, revealing that beneath a mound of unkempt hair it was a human male. I stared into his bright eyes. They dragged a dull and strangely two-dimensional resonance from within my memory. "Who are you? What do you want?" The man's questioning struck me across the face, and endless covers of old music magazines danced like birdies before my eyes. Melody Maker, NME, Q Magazine. Yes, he stared at me still, fearful, and I now knew. It all made sense. "You're Richie Edwards," I blurted out, unable to contain myself. "What? No!" The man protested, but not for long. He could see it was a futile endeavour. He was indeed Richie Edwards, the missing presumed dead guitarist of the Manic Street Preachers. He told me his story, how the pressures of the music business and the failure he'd felt as a human being had led him to flee. He travelled for days, maybe weeks, by foot, until he came to this cave, and it was here he decided to make his home and live the simplest of lives. As for the abominable sounds and the glowing light, well, it seems that Richie was something of a Quake 3 fan, and had rigged a bicycle to a generator in order to power his laptop. I knew he was intensely into fitness training at the time of his disappearance from having read Everything, a book about Manic Street Preachers by Simon Price, but he must really pump those pedals in order to power that machine. Having confessed all this to me, he asked me to keep his secret, which I duly agreed to. The sensation of knowing something no one else in the world knows is quite the thrill. Though I did suggest that he purchase some headphones so that he didn't attract any further attention to his dwelling. On the way home, I dropped in on René to tell him about my encounter. I knew he could be trusted not to tell anyone. However, he seemed completely indifferent to my strange tale. He didn't even squawk once. I don't think he knows who Richie Edwards is. After meeting Richie and discovering the darker side of the music business, I have decided that the pop world is too dangerous a place for a sensitive soul like myself, and have decided to break up the band. But on a more positive note, I answered a missing cat ad in the newspaper and managed to scoop a £30 reward by returning one of the former band members. I'm unsure as what to do with the other.